Okay, ball joint removal day. Starting, of course, with the upper ball joint, then the lower. So I borrowed a ball joint press from Dan. He's got a real nice one here. This particular one is 22 millimeter. I'm going to use the gun. Obviously, there's going to be nothing restricting me from using the impact gun rather than doing it by hand with a big breaker bar. So he bought a nice kit. This one has the little window right here for removal, so you can see that you're lined up. And then this goes on the C. Really nice. Not expecting any problem here. Just another good step in the right direction. And then after that, of course, I'm going to do the passenger side ball joints. And last evening, I took these into work and cleaned them all up nice. I got to press these in, get them set up, and get the snap rings back installed. And then I'll put some grease in them and just make sure that I got that little canal between the rubber gaskets lined up so that the grease actually goes in them. There's a look at Dan's ball joint press. And really nice. That's the part number that he has right here, but pretty cut and dry. Excellent directions. 2 pieces to remove the ball joint, shows you where to put it, how it should look, and another cup and another piece to install ball joints. And at this point, I'm still undecided if I'm going to go with the Terraflex heavy duty ball joints, or I'm going to go possibly with these ball joint deletes, which about $250 more, but we'll see. I'm currently looking into that. I'm going to make a decision on it. So one piece right here goes inside the bottom of the C. Then you got this little observation window cut up, and I can see I got just this hand tight right here, but I can see that I'm around the ball joint. So obviously this will drive down, and this will push the ball joint right up into the cup. So I'll be hitting that with the gun, and hopefully it goes pretty well. I think I'm just going to move the C a little bit just in case it's difficult. I've heard some people say you may have to take a hammer and hit right here, and then we'll be doing the same thing on the lower ball joint. So pretty cut and dry. Happy about this. Another step in the right direction. And obviously these are coming out primarily. I was taking these ball joints out because I'm going to be having some C gusset welded right here by my friend Nate on the lower C and the upper C right here. And obviously the heat would destroy the ball joints anyway. But happily, if you've been following the video series, when I took the knuckle off of each end of the axle, the both lower ball joints were completely just destroyed and loosey-goosey. So anyway, here we go. Piece of cake. Pretty cut and dry. All right, this for the room, just to get the gun in. I just put a 2x6 on top of the jack stand to give me a little more clearance so I can get the gun underneath here. Same thing, just reverse the cups. My sight window, the cup is nice and smooth around the C. And then this piece right here that goes on the ball joint is centered nicely. So this will push the ball joint out of the C end and downward. So we'll hit that with the gun and press that one out. Okay, this lower ball joint finally pressed out, but it was much more difficult. Not really sure why, but I had to take the mallet and do some hammering right here, but she finally pushed through, so we got them out. Ball joints removed. The lower was much harder to press out for some reason, but it's out. All right, we just got to do the passenger side now. Look at the lower ball joint. The boot's off right now, but even in my hand, you can just see all kinds of play in it. So here we go. Stock lower ball joint out. Passenger side ball joints getting ready to come out, starting with the upper. Once again, the tool lined up well. I moved the C over a little in case I got to hit this with the hammer, but the other side, the uppers came out nice and easy. So we'll hit it with the gun and knock it out. Beautiful. Damn. There it goes. Wow. Just a nice look at the little set that Dan bought. So it came with this cup and this piece to remove the ball joints, and then to install the ball joints, or if I get the ball joint deletes, they still get pressed in, but pressed in once and that's it. Comes with this cup and this base plate to press ball joints in, so really nice. Okay, spent a lot of time cleaning this up. I don't know, I think when I install them next time, I think I'm just gonna grease these O-rings and this whole setup really good rather than put silicone. I had a hard time getting all the silicone off. But the both of them are spotless right now. So the O-rings, they come off relatively easy. Well, they look okay. A couple nicks on one of them, but again, I think if I grease them up, they should just be fine. And quite honestly, it's just, you know, trying to keep the mud and water from going in the axle tube. And you know, I did a video, I don't know, a couple of years ago when I put these in. And a lot of people were drawn to that video because people are always wondering about these RCV outer axle seals. And they worried, wow, if I ever have an oil leak, will I know about it? Well, I'm here to tell you that having suffered 2 inner axle seal oil leaks due to most likely axle shafts breaking, the oil does still flow right out of these, and you will see it in your C, and then you'll be able to add 80-90 oil as needed and keep nursing it along until you're ready to take out the carrier and change those seals. So last night cleaned up all of these. You can see there's 3 metal pieces with 2 gaskets basically that get sandwiched in there. I'm going to be putting these together, putting them back inside the axle tube seal, and then putting this snap ring back in there and locking everything in, and then I'm going to put a little grease in it and see how it looks and so forth. So just a couple little tinky-tink projects for today. All right, basically I put some of the RCV synthetic grease in between all the pieces as I sandwiched them in there. Used the snap ring tool, pops right in, nice and easy. So now we're gonna put a little bit of grease in there and see if it spreads in there like it's supposed to. So we'll see how that goes. As you can see, this is the type of needle piece that you need in the end of your grease gun, and of course, RCV, just like their RCV axles, has the moly grease right there. Okay, take note of something here. And when I took them apart, see these little offsets? I believe those are supposed to be lined up for the Zerk fitting. Mine, in both cases, when I took the clips off, that was not the case. So this one here I snapped in, and I don't think it's right. This one here I'm gonna set up with the little notches. So now the next thing would be a rubber gasket like that. Carefully put the gasket in. Just kind of snap it in place there. And then I'm putting a thin coat of the moly grease on these rings. And then I'm going to the key is what I believe is, see that little notch right there? I believe that notch goes right under there like that. And then I'll snap the snap ring in, and then if you look in there, the grease can shoot in between the two rubber pieces. So that's got to be how it goes. I'm going to take this ring off and redo it. All right, just to take note, with the snap ring on, you can't see the notch, but now I can actually turn the Zerk fitting all the way in, and that's how it was before. And then I would back it off a little bit, a turn and a half with my needle nose pliers, and then I would add the grease. So I'm going to add some grease now with the gun. This one I'll have to redo. It is not lined up right, no big deal. But it does make all the sense in the world that the notch in all the rings faces the Zerk fitting on these RCV axle tube seals. All right, these are prepped. Put the O-rings back on them, greased them, snap rings are on. So they're in the go position. Of course, that's a long time away. We've got the truss, the gussets are ordered, the new locker actuator plug has been ordered. Basically, you're just seeing a lot of the stuff that's laid out here for reinstall. There's the bad ball joints, those are shit. They came out pretty good. The lowers were a little bit harder. RCV axle shaft sitting here in the go position. So that's it for today.